So I think it's going okay. So especially early days, learned a lot, figuring out a lot of stuff and getting familiar with Godot. So got lots of the green check boxes here from figuring out stuff. And so we're just like, now we're kind of incrementally like, oh, we want to do this. How do we do that? And then reading docs and figuring stuff out, right? So I guess I don't feel often that courses are really good for me as a way of picking up stuff. I would rather maybe do a little reading, maybe see some existing projects, and then just try stuff myself, and then struggle to just figure it out. I feel like courses are often one size fits all for like a skill level, and don't really fit me that well. Yeah, just trial and error, exactly. But you know, different people have different points where they're entering into something, different perspectives and backgrounds. So it's really dependent, right? And maybe there's something out there that would be like the perfect course for me. I just didn't look because that's not really in my nature to look for those things, because I don't usually go for them. So anyway, so we've been staring at this our trajectory, our map here. So we're going to be working on Minesweeper. We got some things to do. Mouse interaction with game objects. So we didn't really do. We have like UI stuff, but we didn't have anything in the previous games where we are using the mouse to interact with the game. And we also want to look at random map generation. So it's Minesweeper, right? So we're going to have like random mine. So we're going to randomly generate the layout of the map, if you will. So that these are new things for our Minesweeper game. And thanks for the lurk, yeah. Hope things go well as well. So I think I have Godot open. Here we go. And where we had left off, we last stream had made a template. So there's a template project. It's on my GitHub. Hold on, what is it called? Wow, I hit 100 repositories. How about that? I didn't notice. I probably used the repositories list. So we made a Godot template, which is a template repo. So you can actually just go here, and if for some reason you wanted to, you could just click use this template and create a new repository, and you would just get a copy of what's in here, which is my just like folder structure and Godot project, and you know, some basic things. It has my UI stuff in it as well. So, but we did that last time, and we cloned that. So now we have a it's like Godot Minesweeper repo on my GitHub, and so we have that cloned. And I had created some just very basic tiles to mess around with tiles last time, and we created a atlas texture. Okay, so we made this 32 by 32. Presumably the tiles are 32. Yeah, it's 128 by 128. So each of these tiles is 32 across. That makes sense. Let's see. So what was I doing here with this sprite? I think nothing. We have a game script. It's just a placeholder where we have like a map size. I think the idea was map size is going to be size of the game map in tiles. Yep. So that we can, so if we click on the game node, we can see here. Oh, can we? It's a, yeah, vector 2i. There we go. So we get expecting that to show me. Oh, right. We have to, hold on. You know, instead of declaring the type, can't we just do this? Yeah. There we go. All right, cool. So we have integers instead of just any number. We don't need fractional tiles. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to remove this sprite. And we're going to try to do what I tried to do last time, but with a little bit more knowledge, we might succeed. So we're after a tile map layer. Actually, I had already selected previously. So this uses a tile set to lay out tiles on the canvas, right? So the edited tile map or tile map layer node has no tile set resource. So is that something? Let's see, quick load. Okay, nothing. Okay, great. So when I tried this before, I must have deleted the temporary tile set I created, or I didn't save it out maybe. So we create a new tile set. So then there's a little button down here called tile set. And then we add a tile source and we select Atlas. And that'll be our materials, no. Assets, textures, tiles, Atlas texture. Yes. Now, there's like multiple places, at least 2 places, where you need to make sure you set the right size. Tile map property. So did I? No, rendering quad is not the tile size. Is there somewhere else in here that I need to set? I guess not. Okay, so let's set this to 32 by 32. Why is Atlas? Hold on, save. Open this file. Oh, I see. So what I did with this is I managed to it needs to be wider. And hello.
HackDog999 just followed.
Maybe HackDog999? Thanks for the follow. So this needs to be wider, maybe 128. There we go. Did we hear the hello there? Or was it that I was talking that we didn't hear it? Can I replay that? Oh, it's queued. Let's check sound alerts. 1 second. Oh, I gotta reauthenticate. 1 second. Gotta make sure that stuff is working. You're spending channel points. It's gotta work. My alerts. Let's see. Scenes, animation, library, home. Can we replay that?
Hello there.
There it is. Okay. Is it? I think it's the sound alerts mixer. Let's turn that up a little bit. Let me try it one more time.
Hello there.
A little bit louder. There we go. Okay, should be good now. And hello there. Yeah. I am getting older. let's leave it at that. But yeah. Let's see. So that would have been yeah. That was I started doing contract gigs about 20 years ago now. And then worked at a couple of startups and then kind of settled down into a full-time employment situation about 8 years ago. All right, so we have a tile map layer, and what are we doing with it? I don't know. So 20 years of experience, but I have been using Godot for about 2 months now, basically just on stream for 3 hours a day every Sunday. So very new to this. Um, but let's see, what do we want to do here? So we have our tile source for the tile set, and we have our tiles. I can give this a name too. I don't think I need to. Separation, texture region. Create those tiles. Okay. Okay, and we can see atlas coordinates. Separation. Oh yeah. So there's a whole thing with animation. We can do animated tiles and stuff. I watched a video about that the other day. What's this warning? The current atlas source has tiles outside the texture. You can clear it using the remove tiles outside the texture option in the 3 dots menu. Is it here? No. Maybe in setup. Oh, this 3 dots. There we go. Remove tiles outside the texture. There we go. So we had some tiles that were in the atlas that were not in the texture that we have associated. Okay. Cool. What language does Godot use? I think that the Godot is actually implemented in C++. I want to say. Let's double check that really quick. Godot. GitHub. I see stuff about Clang. I see some Python, like build stuff, but let's see. Maybe main. But yeah, CPP. But the language that you use with Godot, one, they have a scripting language that you can use, and that's what I've been using so far. Over here we have a Godot script. It's very much like Python, except slightly different. It has some extra stuff to like integrate with the editor, and some of the syntax is slightly different, but it's a white space significant language, very similar to Python, and with typing. Yep. And there is out-of-the-box support also, and I've seen a lot in videos of using C#. So you can definitely create like C# .NET classes to tie into game objects. Also known as, I guess I'm using Unity terminology, which is weird because I now have more time in Godot than Unity. So everything in Godot in scenes are called nodes, and you can attach a script to them. And I guess I just have GDScript right now, but I'm pretty sure it's fairly easy to do C# as well. And then I know that there are things out there for doing, like I looked briefly at using Rust with Godot, and that appears to be an option. It's not something I've dug into a lot, but I did just spend like over a year working on a Rust project, more like web dev stuff. And so I was like, could I use Rust for this? But, I don't want to pile too much on, right? So if it gets to the point where we're making a game where there's something where using GDScript is slowing me down, I might prefer Rust over going for C#. But anyway, to the matter at hand, though, we have tiles now, and I should be able to, on the tile map, like I can place tiles. What's interesting, so I think that, yeah, this is the 33, 34. Yeah, so the coordinate here, it looks like the tile is bigger than... Yeah, it overlaps. Like it's twice the size, which makes sense because if the tile map was somehow 16 pixels by 16 pixels, but the tiles were 32 by 32, that would make sense. And again, it's not this option. This is... I mean, I don't think so anyway. We can change it and see what that doesn't change anything, does it? Yeah, I don't want that to overlap like that. What am I missing? There is some option. Not on the... let's try this. Let me save out. Save as. We're gonna save this to assets. I guess I'll save it to textures right now as well. And we're gonna save this as tile set. We just have the one right now. There we go. So now we have a tile set. Aha, there we go. So that's where the setting was. All right, and that messed with a bunch of stuff. Can I if I go to tile map? So right now I have the paint tool activated. That's how I was painting stuff onto the canvas. We have an erase tool. There we go. And I can erase tiles. We're not going to paint by hand here because we're gonna have a data structure that represents the Minesweeper board, right? Because we're making a Minesweeper, in case we forgot. And so we'll have a data structure that represents the board, and we will set tiles in the tile map based on that data structure, and then we'll add interactivity and stuff. In fact, I feel like, did I leave a bunch of notes here? If I did, they're gone now. So I guess they probably, hopefully, weren't important. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So what we want to do, we have a script. So here's our GD script that I had open before. And where we have this function called _ready. And as the comment says, it's called, this function is called whenever the node enters the scene tree for the first time, right? And so that's when the game loads, basically, because this... well, let's launch this, right? So we have a basic start screen with a menu that was imported from our template. I can click new game, and that takes us to this view. So somewhere in there, this function will get called, and what we want to do is we're gonna say @onReady var map equals $tile map layer. So we're gonna get a handle on our tile map layer, which is the node right underneath the node that our script is attached to. And we're gonna put it in map. And what we're gonna say is, so I got a question as a person who's been a dev for many years now. How do you stay consistent and not be demotivated? I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, I think what kind of demotivation? I've definitely felt a demotivation of why am I bothering to do this? I think very early on, yeah, I mean, I guess that is a lot of it, at least for me, right? Is do I really need to do it this way? Am I really spending this time working on this thing when I could be doing something else? Or I don't know. I think at least an element of that, right? Is identifying what it is you want to accomplish. Not just like, oh, I want to, not what do I want to build, but what do I want it to do? What am I going to get out of it, right? And then thinking about what are the things to know that I'm actually, one, making progress towards that goal, and two, looking at how I can break down what I want to do to be able to like move towards the goal, and also have like, I mean, that's just like general goal setting advice, I guess. But like, so you're saying from my experience, I like to try to learn a language, make a project, do it for 2 weeks straight, and don't finish it. Feels kind of guilty that I'm not progressing, and I just stop for months and repeat it again. Yes. Okay. Yes. That's funny. I think we talked about that a little bit last week as well, and then that was also a conversation that carried on. We rated Settlix last week, which is a likely raid target. So we raid Settlix, and that conversation also happened there of like, having one of the reasons I've broken up kind of this process of learning Godot into these little projects is that rather than making like, I do have some game ideas. In fact, I have like a whole thing in ChatGPT over here where I'm like brainstorming ideas for games, but I don't want to use those for like for practice, right? These are all the things on the screen now are like practice projects that have like, these are the things I want to learn. These are the things I want to accomplish. And once I've done these specific things, unless I'm like having fun, like adding more to it, if I can think of more things to do or like whatever, once I've like figured out, hey, okay, here's mouse interaction and random map generation. If I can't think of anything else that is like would really make sense for learning within Minesweeper, I'm gonna drop it, right? I'm not trying to make like a publishable game. I'm not trying to create everything. I'm not trying to make a polished product, right? I'm just trying to like knock off some things. So if you're trying to learn a language, what are the things that interest you about the language? What are the things that are like, oh, if I use this language, then I get this benefit? How do you understand what that means in practice? Like, what's something you could build to be able to get that sense? How far do you need to take it so that you can like have an end date, right? So like we spent 3 or 4 streams on Pong and like a couple of streams on Breakout, and that's it, right? If it's fun, keep on doing it. But if it's not fun, if you've checked the boxes of what you're trying to accomplish with the project, then just drop it and then come up with something else. And maybe at some point down the road, you'll be like, oh, I have this cool idea for a take on Breakout in this example, right? Or I have I built this thing before. I bet I could make something interesting by taking that and going back to that project. You could do that. But honestly, maybe by the time we're gonna add some more things to this progression, right? But by the time I get down further, I'll be like, oh yeah, a lot of the things I did in these were mistakes because I learned other things down the road, right? So being able, like, it's not a bad thing to be like, okay, I worked on this and I didn't finish it, right? The other thing is that there were things that we tried to do like in Breakout where I was like, oh, I wonder what it would look like to use the mouse to control the paddle in Breakout, and it just didn't work, right? Yeah, just You can drop projects. Yeah. Just do a little bit, see what works, what doesn't. If you have to, just like, don't cheat yourself out of opportunities to learn things. But if things aren't working right and you just don't feel like this isn't the right way to go about this, you can start something new. I think there's an aversion, right? No one likes to feel like, oh, I'm just like I'm quitting on the thing, I'm abandoning this thing. But I mean, the project doesn't have any feelings. It's not going to feel abandoned. So it's really about managing how you feel about the situation. And that's a complicated thing, but to some extent up to how we think about things. So how are we initializing the map? I think what we need to do is we need to have some kind of couple ways we could do this, right? So one would be to have an array that represents where all the mines are, and then an array that represents where the what tiles have been revealed. I think I like that. The other way of doing it would be to have like an array that has some kind of data structure that has like, oh, this is revealed, this is a mine. Or to have, I don't know, there's some other options for data structures. Oh, okay, got another question for you. Yeah, I'm happy to take questions. Fire away. Let's see. I'm gonna call this mines. Let's see. I don't think. Let's see. Let me. Where is? I have a cheat sheet and I have a Godot script reference. So how do we declare arrays? Objects, literals, comments, annotations, variables, constants, functions, classes. Like you can use a dictionary and do something where you have like keys that are locations or something. It's kind of the other thing my mind was imagining. Built-in types, that's what I was looking for. Node path, string name. Oh, interesting. Float. Vector built-in types. Container built-in types. There we go. So there's an array, and we have typed arrays as of Godot 4.0. We're on 4.4. So you can do array and then a type. So there we go. Nested array types like array ints are not supported. So do array or array variant, and these are the same thing, right? So we can't say, oh, this is a multidimensional like nested array as a type, but we can just say array variant, which is the same thing as saying array. And what we're going to do in initialize map is we are going to think about, is Copilot going to be the right thing for us? Like, is what Copilot just generated right? Map.clear maybe is a method on the tile map layer. We're going to see in a minute. And then we do something where we say for X in range, map size X, map size Y, B. I see. let's change the nomenclature here a little bit. The interesting thing for me about like using AI is that when I see I've named something some way and then it like suggests something, that gives me information about like actually maybe that's not a great name if it's like generating something not based on if it's generating something that I wasn't expecting. So we're figuring out the number of cells in the map, and we're saying 20% will be mines. And then, why does that resize mine count? It's interesting. No, we don't want to do that. I think this first part is interesting, and I'll keep it. Although, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say export var mine percent. Yeah. All right, and so Heckdog, your question was like I've been seeing and hearing a lot of videos that you shouldn't really rely on AI code as much and that it produces trash code, but the problem with that is how do you know if the AI prompt is trash if you don't even know what is good code? Just been kind of YOLOing it most of the time. Yes, that is a danger of if you are I mean, an example, right? So I'm not new to coding, but I'm new to using Godot. I don't know, like it suggested, oh, it could call I didn't want it to do that, but it could call map.clear. And that appears to be a method. I have no idea. I have no idea what clear does to a tile map array. I can guess that it removes all the tiles that are set, right? And if I look here, hopefully in here somewhere is tile map layer. Tile map layer clears all the cells. Okay, so that makes sense. But I want to be critical in a not a like unjustified way, but just like, hey, it's gonna give me some code. It doesn't know anything, right? It is just trying to complete a pattern based on things it's seen before. So sometimes it's right, sometimes it's just obviously wrong, and sometimes it's very subtly wrong. You can't rely on it being right, but at the same time, as someone who's reviewed code written by lots of other people, people get things wrong too. So to me, looking at AI code isn't that much different from looking at someone who's like maybe a new hire who maybe just completed a coding boot camp or is out of college, who is dropped into an environment where they they can code, but they are not necessarily familiar with like the project and the situation, and so they can make things that on the surface maybe look right, or sometimes not even then, but sometimes are just very, very broken. And AI can do the same thing. The fact of the matter is that if you're newer to coding, it's going to be challenging for you, which is to say it could be a challenge for you to be able to figure out why the code that AI is making is wrong. I think there are, thinking about coding, there's lots of different skills involved, but very broadly, writing code and reading code are two different, like, overlapping things that you do. And there's a set of skills that you build with reading code that I think people are going to find more and more necessary as, we keep on taking advantage of AI. That skill set is going to be really valuable. So it's an opportunity, right? Of like, yeah, maybe it's going to produce trash. But even when it does, why is it trash? Like figuring that out could be a way of gaining skill. The other side of that is that if it works, the saying, right? If it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid. So, if you're not coding something that is people's lives are on the line, yeah, I mean, it's going to look bad if you use AI and then you don't catch stupid things that it does. Hopefully someone who's, if you're working in an environment where you're working with other people, don't pass off something AI made as your own. Be like, hey, I used AI to sketch this out, so it should, be critical of it. But it is a way, if you can make sure bugs aren't slipping past you, to kind of amplify your ability to make things. I often feel, as a unreliable reference, right? The other thing is I found AI is really good of like, hey, I have this and I don't want to like abstract this away because these are two different use cases. There's two different situations. I want to explicitly repeat myself. The AI is very good at like using what one part of the project does and repeating it with different variables and different, in the context. So flip side of that is the AI is really good at copying and pasting the same code in a project over and over again over time. Whereas like if you were writing it, you would be like, oh, don't we have this thing that's going to save me time if I just reuse it? It's just one of those ways that AI in the current, as it is now for coding, is very much like a very junior engineer, and my perception of it anyway. So how are we going to initialize mines? So we have a count of mines, and then what we want to do is we want to build a nested array, like a multi-dimensional array. Build a multi-dimensional array to represent the map. See, if you give it good comments, sometimes it will just hopefully, let's see, is this reasonable code? So we're gonna say for the values from 0 to X, we're going to put an array into mine map, and then for the values from 0 to Y, we are going to okay, so this should work. And then randomly place the mines on the map. Okay, so for each mine in the mine count, we pick an X and Y that exists somewhere in the map, and then while map sub XY. Oh, I see. So this is it being like, hey, generate location. Does the location already have a mine in it? If it does, pick a new location. So first of all, do that. Expected loop value. Okay, so we can't do underscore. Okay, we actually have to have some kind of identifier in there. My avatar looks cool. Reminds you of Reinhard from ReZero. Why can't I remember what Reinhard from ReZero? I actually have watched. Actually, I have fallen behind on the newest season of ReZero, unfortunately, because I keep on forgetting that it exists. But I really enjoyed past seasons. So hold on. Okay, yeah, kind of similar color scheme going on. I see it. Sure. All right. I wanted to put a comment here, like explaining. Check if so, find a new position. Just add a comment here, explaining what's going on, and then assuming we find a place that doesn't have a mine, we put a mine. It has this idea of appending all of the locations into this mines variable. I don't think I want to do that, or do I? I think what I want to do is I'm going to just say mines equals mine map. So we're going to just overwrite it. Now, how important is commenting? Well, if it's just for you, think about your future self. Like, if you're just working on a personal project, even if it's something that like is kind of like one of the story projects where you're just like practicing something you don't plan on ever using again. Never delete your projects. I really regret that I lost some of my projects from like 20 years ago. They would not be impressive to me today, but it would be cool to actually be able to see. Like, I wrote part of 8086 CPU emulator in C, and other things back in the day that I wish I still had around to like to look at. So think of your future self, because you're going to keep around the projects you work on now, and you're going to look back, and the comments will give you some insight, because you're not going to remember. Like, it's one thing to see the code you wrote. There's definitely a meme of like 3 months down the line, you'll be like, what idiot wrote this code? Oh, it was me, right? So if you have the comments there, maybe hopefully you've communicated why things are the way they are. It's going to help kind of contextualize this. It's going to save you time on reading the code to understand like this. But the other thing is, in the current situation where we have these AI tools, comment means that it's going to give you better autocomplete, right? Of like, if you're communicating the context. And the great thing is you can use AI to write the comments too. Like, you can see you can see what the AI thinks if you just like, hey, let me open a comment block. What comments is the AI going to make? Why did it make that comment? No, that's not right. I want it to do this. And so you change the comment and you give it these micro adjustments to like direct what it's going to do. Okay, so we have a map that has random mines on it. The other thing we want to do is we want to actually update the... I think for now what we're going to do is we're just going to make the tiles show the mines. Let me think about this for a second. Yeah, I still want to go down this route. So let's do this. Let's hide this. We're gonna do a func. Do we want to like have like an update tiles? Update tile map. Okay. This is looking good, right? So we're gonna loop over, like we're gonna iterate over the map size. We're gonna look in the mines array. If it's set, we're going to set it to a tile. Otherwise, we're gonna set it to another tile. Now, is set cell V actually a method? Nope. Like I don't get autocomplete there, or hover over there. You're gonna do some yard work. Have a good stream. Yeah. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Cool Beans. Good luck with the yard work, as Hackdog also said. Hope to see you around later on. All right, so I think there is some kind of, there's a set cell method. The stream schedule is I stream doing this Sunday mornings from around 8:30 to 11:30 Pacific time, so US West Coast, every week. And so about 3 hours. I take breaks about every hour, which is coming up because Twitch likes to run ads. I've been failing at keeping to my schedule the last few weeks, but generally I do some gaming streams on Monday and Friday nights, where I do modded Minecraft on Mondays. I'm doing Red Tech New Horizons. I'm mid-game-ish there. And then we've been doing Mind Over Magic on Friday nights, which is a kind of like Oxygen Not Included sort of, modded Minecraft Monday. So I have, like I said, been really bad the last couple weeks. I've been missing stream dates, but I hope to get back onto schedule. I think is next week Memorial Day. Is Memorial Day, the 26th. So I will hopefully do like a longer stream. Not this coming Monday, but next week's Monday. Since I missed that last year. So hopefully this year we'll have a Memorial Day modded Minecraft Monday. We'll do a long stream. So we'll see. But how do we call set cell? So we pass no, this is a lie. So this is for tile map. We're using tile map layer, which is the do thing. So you pass coordinates, which are the coordinates in the map. You pass a source ID. It's 0. It'll be 0, I think. And then atlas coords is the coordinate in the tile atlas. Gotta go. It's 1 a.m. for me. Right now having a different time zone set. Yeah. I work with a bunch of people in different time zones, and it is challenging. Bye-bye. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good morning, a good night. Thanks for the questions. All right, so we're doing chords. So we'll do vector to I xy, and then the source is 0, I think. And then we need another vector to I that is the well, here's the thing, right? Is that what we should do? Let's do this. So we'll do something where we do @export var mine tile is a vector to I. So let's look at our tile map. So I think this is going to be like unrevealed, revealed mine, clear, and flagged. It's not quite right, but yeah, sure, something like that. So we're gonna do unrevealed, revealed tile. There you go. And then export var revealed tile is actually like 2. Export var mine tile and flag tile. Sure, seems good. Okay, so these will give us the coordinates in our tile map for that. And then we can just say, hey, just drop mine tile if there is a mine. And then if there's not a mine, we're going to do 0 unrevealed tile. Now we're going to change this, like there's going to be more to this, but this is what we're going to do initially. And then I think what we're going to do is we're just going to do updates hold on. F2. Updates is kind of weird. Update timeout. There we go. Save that. And now we can actually, let's run this and see what happens. Oh no. Set cell V is wrong. Whoops. I didn't remove that V. Okay. The other thing to look at is we have map size 9x9, and then all this other stuff. That's fine for now. Mine percent. Sure. And then new game. And there we go. So now we have a map, and we're showing tiles, and we're showing where the mines are. Now this is not a game make, but it's definitely a start. One of the things that we'll need to figure out is that when we start the game, we are not going to have any mines. We're not going to generate the mines until the player clicks first. So let's change this function slightly to first tile, which is a vector 2i. And then what we're going to do, we're going to randomly place mines, but we're going to explicitly not place it on first tile. No, that's not quite right. Okay, well, I'm going to think about how I want to express that condition, but we're going to take a break here for just a couple of minutes. I'm going to stretch my legs, and we're just going to run some ads, so I'll be right back. In just a minute.